Alright, so you're probably back from part 1 of what we were going over. Now let's continue looking at those comments there. And I want to go over the comments more on the interview, actually, like the real interview, and as we were looking before. But let's also look at basically Billy Carson's reaction to the interview and his comments under his own video by his own subscribers and such. Alright? So it would be definitely interesting to see that happen there. Alright. So going back here. Sorry about that. Let me get this set up. So going back there, let's take a look. Yeah, that size is good. So looking at the comments here. Alright. Last one we looked at was this one. Alright. And you just see so many people saying, this was the most painfully respectful intellectual smackdown I've ever seen. Well done. This was the best way to minister to others. Alright. But you guys are probably saying, of course, this is really biased because, oh yeah, look at this. This is pretty cool. Thank you, Billy Carson, for introducing me to Westhoff. Billy Carson fans being introduced to Westhoff. Alright. Billy Carson unknowingly converting thousands of people to Christianity. Very nice. Alright? Wow, I love this testimony. I hope Wes sees this comment. I've been an atheist that have believed many of Billy's claims for my entire life. Since the debate, I've been watching a lot of your content, and I'm going to say something I've never said before. Wes has single-handedly dismantled my entire worldview on Abrahamic doctrines. Not only do I realize how incorrect I have been my entire life, I'm beginning to believe that the Christians may actually be right about everything. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's true. Thank Wes for shattering my worldview and setting me down on a solid foundation. Wow. When you have someone that generally just looks for evidence from an unbiased perspective, from an open-minded, unbiased perspective, intellectually fair perspective, someone you're talking to, this is what you get. Alright? Something like that. So now let's look at Billy Carson's reaction, right? And I'll just show you guys like a little highlight reel of like some key parts of that video. It's like 3 hours long, so we're not gonna look at the entire thing. We'll just go over a few parts in it. This one guy, I love his video so much. What do you mean? We'll be looking at some of what he said about Billy Carson in some of his videos. We'll be going over that because they show his key elements in that 3-hour video he has. Alright. So we're going to go over this little segment in What Do You Meme's video. He just makes some video on like Christianity, these types of things. So we'll be going over his video. Just like the first part of it. Alright, I don't want to make it too long. But we'll be going over that part. And you'll see like his Billy Carson's really childlike reaction to his basically his failure in defending his case. And honestly, like, I don't get why so much people hate failure, deny failure, say it's the worst thing that can happen. Failure, challenges, mistakes, they're all beautiful things that can happen to you, right? And you should thank God whenever they happen, right? Because failure, mistakes, those types of things, they're the key elements that build success, alright? Without them, you can't have success. Because with them, you learn how to do better, alright? With them, you learn your biggest flaws and how to do better. That's why whenever I have a failure or something, I thank God for it, right? Like, in the Bible it said, embrace the challenges you have. Rejoice when you're faced with them, alright? Thank God for them. Do not put them aside, alright? I'll pull that up too if I get it. But just saying, like, failures are good, so don't even stress about it if you ever fail. Just focus on learning from it and thanking God. Be positive about it. But anyways, that's not the point that we're going over right now. Let's go over this little segment here.
for the first time on his claims about Christianity. It was clear to everyone that watched the debate that it just didn't go well for Billy. And he knew this, which is why he responded by doing everything that he could to suppress the debate. Everything from showing up at the producer's house at 2 a.m. to trying to sue everyone involved. But after the clip still managed to come out, Billy made everything worse by hosting a disastrous live stream where he tried to attack Christianity, called the God of Christianity a sadistic narcissist, and somehow also ticked off his non-Christian fans.
Saying that the God of Christianity, Jesus Christ, is a sadistic narcissist is crazy, because he literally went up the cross for you. For you. Alright? He went and died on the cross for you. That is the most selfless thing anyone could do. Alright? So sadistic narcissist is a bit much. Alright? Even if he wasn't divine, even if he was just a normal human being, right? That normal human being would still be selfless, right? Because he would go up with the intention to die for you on the cross, which is immense, right? Some people's parents wouldn't even do that, right?
In the process. Not only did his efforts backfire by making millions of people his non-Christianity, called the God of Christianity a sadistic narcissist, and somehow also ticked off his
like, literally people are calling him a narcissist. These are literally his own followers, his own subscribers, alright? This is what they're saying. Thanks, narcissist. I'm disappointed.
Fans in the
completely unhinged. Admit you're wrong and move on, right? Admit your failures. Learn from them. Become better. Move on. Alright?
Process. Not only did...
What an absolute S-word show. I'm very disappointed in you, Billy. I was a big fan and you let me down. Yes. The reason why he let you down is because he is a liar.
His effort.
Alright? Billy, you should have waited, man. It's not even waiting because, like, he failed. Alright? Like, and he's wrong in the statement that he said, right? So he needs to learn from his failures, alright, and move on from there. Alright? Admit that he's wrong. Humble himself. Admit that he's wrong, and admit that Christianity is most likely true, because that's the facts.
Efforts backfired by making millions of people far more interested in seeing the debate, but he also brought international attention to Wes, bringing Wes from about 12,000 subs to well over 200,000 subs in less than a month. But now things seem...
God provides. God provides. Alright? God rewards those who proclaim his name. God reward... It's that... God just loves you, alright? And when you need something, and you genuinely need it, he'll provide for you, alright? And he gave it to him.
Seemed to have gotten even worse for Billy as this happened, seeming to be the precursor to Billy's worst.
Yeah, and then there was an interview between Wes and Joe Rogan now. So definitely look into that as well. That seems really, really interesting. Alright, an interview between these two guys. It's 3 hours long. I tried watching the whole thing. They talk a lot about, like, about a lot of, like, manuscripts and that type of thing. But I couldn't even, like, understand any of it. You have to be very knowledged in other things before getting into that conversation. Alright? But, definitely look into that if you like. It's 3 hours. I would say watch near the end. Alright, and I like what He Meme said about the interview in his other video. He said you have to be a PhD to understand what they're saying, which is very, very true. Alright, so anyways, let's go into our next point. It's clear that you have one of the most famous atheists, right, that proclaim they know these certain things about, like, origins of humanity, that type of thing, like ancient gods, that type of thing, like, yet we have this person that acts very, very childlike after taking a large failure, alright? Makes a like, how childlike is that? You literally go to someone's house at 2:30 a.m. saying, can you remove this video? Can you remove this video? They're like, come on, alright? And he mentioned some other things, but I don't want to embarrass him, alright? It's in the video. You can go look at it yourself. Like, he literally says at one point that, like, they faked his voice, and then he does, like, an AI-generated version of him speaking South Korean. Like, Come on, bro. Anyways, let's get into the next point now. All right, we already saw that it's very clear that you have to watch out for ones that deceive you, because there are people out there that will deceive you, right? That proclaim that they know the truth yet they don't. All right, and Billy Carson is like many other heretics out there that say they know the truth but use lies and forgeries and fakes to proclaim their knowledge. All right, which is very, very wrong. All right, and I don't feel like I even need to like show you evidence for this. All right, you will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. All right, such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nations will rise against nations, kingdoms against kingdoms. You have Russia, Ukraine, you have Palestine and Israel. All right, there's much more wars going on. I'll actually show you some of those that we're unaware of. All right, like a good chunk of the world is at war right now, but we're just not aware of it. So this is a global conflict tracker, all right? And as you can see, a good chunk of the majority of the world is at war right now, all right? You have a lot of war going on in these African nations here, all right? You have Sudan, you have Democratic Republic of Congo, you have stuff going on there. There's a lot of stuff going on with there, like drug trafficking, human trafficking, and like weapons. I'm pretty sure that's like a big thing going on there. Ethiopia, conflict, and I don't know how to Somalia, yeah. Yemen, in the Red Sea. You have conflict in Libya, and I can't pronounce that, but there you go. Conflict, Middle East type area. You have conflict going on here. Turkey. Homeland. You have some conflict into Iran. There's always conflict in Iran. Recently launched missiles towards Israel. All right, that's in the news. You can go check it out. I'm pretty sure it was like 2 weeks or like a month ago. All right, conflict in Syria. Conflict in Lebanon. And then you have conflict going on here in South America. You have conflict going on here. Instabilities in the Northern Triangle. Venezuelan, Haiti, pretty sure that's Mexico, there you go, conflict in Mexico. And then you have here, territorial dispute, South China Sea, alright, confrontation over Taiwan, alright, North Korea crisis, oh, I don't even need to go over North Korea, like, come on, okay, civil war in Myanmar, I don't know if I'm saying that right, sorry. Just all these conflicts going on, alright? War in Ukraine, there you go, war in Ukraine. And Poland's having a large issue with protecting their border right now. That's a big thing going on there as well. And there's much more conflicts going on that just aren't on the picture here, alright? And there's a lot of individual acts of terrorism happening in different countries, like Germany. They recently had someone plow a car, a Muslim guy, plow his car through a Christmas market because it's a haram tradition. So there you go. But there's a lot of conflict going on around the world. And I like how it shows nothing here going on in the US, but if you go to the US, there's a lot more conflict with their own people going on than you know. There's a bunch of homeless people in the country that fight each other. There's drug laws that are legalized that are ruining the country, like makes it legal to like take any drug in like certain areas of these cities, right? There's this one like YouTuber that literally goes to these places and interviews people, which is really, really interesting. You should definitely look at his videos. In San Francisco and other places, you literally have to like lock up gummies, like Sour Patch Kids, in certain sections in certain stores. I'm pretty sure a big one in San Francisco is Walgreens, because people are literally stealing gummies. All right, that just shows you how bad it is there. How much like it's not necessarily a conflict, but it shows you the world is going to crap. Right, that's the point. Like conflict, chaos, that type of idea. Right, and the U.S. is involved in wars. It's just they kind of pull strings with other places, so So other countries kind of do the dirty work for them, so it doesn't look like they're doing it, but they're definitely involved with something. All right. And in Canada, we're just oblivious. I'm not gonna lie, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Basically, the whole world is at war in some sort of sense. You got it all across the board here. All right. Russia and Ukraine. You got a good chunk of Asia here with some conflicts. You have the Middle East. You have a whole of Africa. You have South Africa fighting each other. All right. And you also have North America, USA, always pulling strings here and doing some sort of conflict. All right. And a big one I wanted to go over actually was Afghanistan. Right. Afghanistan is actually still ruled by the Taliban. All right. They still have harsh instruction by the Taliban. So there you go. You also have that. Lots of conflict going around the world. Lots of conflict. All right. So I'm not even going to go too deep into that one because it's really apparent. There's a lot of wars going on in the world right now. So many wars are going on in the world right now that they're not even covered as much because there's so much. There's bigger wars overshadowing these smaller wars happening, which is primarily Ukraine and Russia and Gaza and primarily Gaza and Palestine and Israel. Palestine and Israel is so big that we literally forgot about the whole conflict that's going on in the Ukraine. All right, even though it's still happening, that just shows you how big it is, and just to show you how much it's affecting the world. Literally, one of my classmates came from Ukraine. All right, around a year ago when the war began. All right, this just shows how potent the effects of that war actually are. And there's many Palestinian people seeking asylum in different countries as well. And what's so interesting is their Muslim brother countries are actually revoking them access to make a point. Make a point saying you should just stop the war. Okay, whatever. But anyways, war across the board, very clear it's happening. It's just you don't see it as much in your news events and your news programs. All right, so be aware of that. So looking back here at the verses I was mentioning of end time prophecies, you will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Right? Nations will rise against nations. Right? Is Palestine not a nation? Is Israel not a nation? Is Russia not a nation? Is Ukraine not a nation? All right? And there will be famines. Famines. If you look at, like, if you just try to click on any YouTube video, you probably got those ads of like kids in Palestine literally begging for money because they're hungry every night they go to bed. All right. We have that on top of the increasing famine going on in some African nations. All right. So there's definitely a lot of famine going on in the world. All right. I'll actually bring up some statistics too, so it's not just an empty statement. So this is a little article I brought up that we can go over. All right, world hunger facts, what you need to know in 2024 and 2025. All right, hunger is a pretty simple feeling to understand. All right, very good. Let's just see world hunger by the numbers. All right, the world produces enough food to feed all its 8 billion people. It's 733 million people. 1 in 11 go hungry every day. And I actually found another statistic. Yeah, this 1 in 5, all right? Hunger rates in Africa are especially high, with 1 in 5 people going hungry each day. All right, this is literally like children, right? 2.3 billion people around the world cannot afford a healthy diet, right? 35% of the global population. In low-income countries, 71.5% of the people cannot afford a healthy diet in high-income countries. And what I like, I don't like that people are going hungry, but these numbers that we have, it doesn't even attest for the people's experiences that were not accounted for. All right, there's so many people out there that don't really have the necessary means to like put in their vote for, oh yeah, I am hungry, that aren't being included. Right? Like, how many people are in India? All right, there's like I'm pretty sure they have a population over 1 billion. All right, and they are experiencing a large chunk of people in India are experiencing hunger. All right, and hold on. Yep, I was not lying. Close to 20% of India's population are undernourished, with 50% of reproductive age women also being anemic. Damn. All right. And they say hungry, right? But that's such a broad definition. All right. Hungry or not getting enough food is what they should include in the entire percentage, because definition of anemic is like their body is so malnourished they can't even properly produce blood in their bodies. All right. That's how bad it is for them. All right. So people are definitely going hungry every single day. All right, this is not something that's new. Okay, like this has been happening and it's just getting worse. Literally, if you go to as a tourist to different countries across the world, there's literally people like on the streets that always beg these tourists, like, buy me milk, buy me rice. All right, I have a child. These types of things. Like, hunger is a very serious problem there. All right, so famine is really a global thing going on. All right, they have one of the largest populations in India, and 190 people go hungry there every single day, or 16%. Like, that's crazy. And over here it says 224 million people. So how do we even know if these are under exaggerating the true effects of it? The true number that could be out there. All right, and there's millions of people that aren't even accounted for in these studies, right? So there could be even much more people that we don't know of that are also hungry. All right, let's look here. They say 13% is undernourished, 35% of children under 5 are stunted. I'm pretty sure that means like they don't have enough food to allow for proper growth to happen, so their growth is stunted, right? With 18.7% of them being wasted, and 2.9% of children die before their 5th birthday. That's insane. All because of malnourishment. So it's not just hunger. It's hunger, malnourishment, so much like umbrella terms that aren't being included for in these types of numbers we have here. All right? So people are definitely hungry across the world, all right? We have close to 1 billion people out of our 8 that are hungry across the world, and much more that are malnourished, all right? And then, on top of that, much more that don't have access to a proper diet, right? So these problems are very, very, very serious. Like hunger, malnourishment, lack of access to adequate food. These things do exist, all right? And they're very, very apparent. And honestly, like, just seeing this makes me feel so thankful and blessed that I have access to such things, right? And you guys should be thanking God as well, right? But let's continue. So we covered hunger, all right? Billions of people, they're either hungry every day or severely malnourished. So famine is a real thing, all right? Famine is a really, really real thing. It's definitely real, all right? Yeah, very, very real, very real. What was that one number I was looking for here? There are 2.8 billion people around the world. There, I just want to like sum it up with this before we go back. 2.8 billion people around the world cannot afford a healthy diet. Insane. Absolutely insane. Malnourished or like just hungry straight up. All right. Anyways, let's go back to our next point. All right. Earthquakes in various places. All right. Earthquakes in various places. We see natural disasters and particularly earthquakes happening in various places that they haven't happened before. And there's this one example, this one that happened in New York recently that I want to include, all right? We'll go over that. So first we'll be going over like a CTV news video so you know this earthquake actually happened. And then we'll look at this biblical explanation and fact check it to show you guys the reasoning. All right? So here's the video.
We are following breaking news out of the New York area today. A rare 4.7 magnitude quake has been reported by the U.S. Geological Survey, centered in New Jersey and felt in New York City. There's no damage reported, but a large part of the U.S. Northeast felt the quake. We are
And the last time, all right, like this guy mentions it in his video.
Working over 2 centuries,
Like here,
making it the 3rd strongest ever felt in the state, according to info from CUN.
This earthquake was the third strongest ever felt. All right, that should, in that state, it should mean something significant. All right. Anyways, let's continue.
which relies on data from the U.S. Geological Service. This seismic shake is a big deal because it's the most intense the region has seen since 1783, marking over 2 centuries of seismic records. Before this, only 2 other quakes rocked harder, both at 5.1, back in 1755 and 1780. The intriguing part? These major quakes happened before New Jersey was formally recognized as a state in December 1787, even though they were within the state's current geographical boundaries. Plus, this recent
The last earthquake that strong in that area happened at 1787. So we have that happening along with all these different signs that we're seeing happen today, right? But it's just a coincidence, right? So you have earthquakes happening all over the world, including in areas that never usually face earthquakes, all right? New York, all right? But they're still happening there, all right? But let's look at if there's more earthquakes happening in different areas of the world. Let's see what that's going, if we have anything on that. I'm not even gonna lie to you, I did not think it would be this bad, but it is. We literally have earthquakes happening all over the world. Sorry. We have some happening in America, South America, sorry. We have some happening in Africa. We have some happening along Europe and in the Middle East. Moving down into Asia, we have some happening there. Have some along here in the ocean, alright? I'm not too good at geography, so mind me. We have some happening in Australia. So we have a lot touching all these continents all over the world, alright? They may not be like the most severe earthquakes, but they are happening. They are there. They're really apparent, right? Damn, I really did not think it would be this bad, alright? But I guess it's there, yeah. I'm surprising myself here recording this. Wow. You learn more every day, I guess. And if you guys think this is just empty, no, they're literally just like copies. Alright, it's the same thing that's happening here. Just blank here. But this is the map. Alright. So, wow. That is really, really cool. So you have earthquakes happening in areas where they previously never happened before to that degree. Alright? And you have literal earthquakes happening all across the world. All across the world. Wow. That is insane. That is amazing. This is really, really telling. You know what I mean? Wow. But yeah. This is very, very significant and should be considered. So, we have proofs of people deceiving you so far. We have proofs of wars, like a lot of wars between nations, between kingdoms, between people. We have rumors of wars happening, right? But they're not even confirmed yet. Like, these things are happening. You have famine all over the world. Literally a quarter of the world has access to terrible food, alright, that keeps them malnourished or doesn't have any food at all, alright? And then you have earthquakes happening in various places all across the world, alright? And now we'll be going over Christians getting persecuted and put to death in part 3. We'll be going over Christians getting persecuted and put to death and being hated by all nations because of being a proper Christian, alright? Being a Christian and a proper follower of Christ are 2 very different things. We'll be going over that a bit, alright? And at that time, many people will turn away from the faith and will betray each other and hate each other, alright? And many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. And because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold, alright? But the one who stands firm till the end will be saved, alright? So I'll see you guys in part 3. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and give it a like if you feel like you would want to stay tuned for more videos that come. And if you enjoyed watching this, I know they're not edited that well, or they're not edited at all. I'm not even going to lie to you. They're not edited at all, alright? I know they're not like production like the best of production like that, if that made any sense. But I just want to be really raw when I talk. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed. Take care. God bless. Stay safe.